Hey everyone, welcome to the Love Your Body podcast. Today's episode is brought to you by Michael Dyer, my brother. Actually, he's a realtor here in Nashville. He's native to Nashville. He's been a real estate consultant since 2006. 95% of his business comes from past clients, referrals, and friends. He actually is the one that helped me get my first home, and so I just am very thankful for him and excited to have him as a sponsor. So if you can go check him out at dyernashville.com, and you can check in the caption everything, his like how to reach him. So make sure to give him a shout out. And if you are looking for a home in the Nashville area, Middle Tennessee area, Murfreesboro, Lebanon, he goes all over. So just reach out with any questions you have. And yeah, tell him I sent you. Tell him you heard it on the Love Your Body podcast. But yeah, on today's episode, guys, I really want to focus in on talking about being okay enough with your body. Okay. So you may be like, okay, well, what does that mean? Right. So I feel like a lot of us, especially if we're in the fitness world, it's like you get to a certain point where you're like, okay, like I'm good with this, right? Like I can rock with this. Maybe I've met a weight goal. Maybe I have put on muscle. Maybe I have, done something to accomplish. And, for me, it's, accomplish something great that I've been like, trying to do for a year or 2 years or whatever, right? Or maybe your whole life. And so when we're looking at this, it's like, okay, that's great that you feel great in your body and you feel, like your best self. But as you've realized with lifting, or if you've realized with running or whatever your practice is for movement, there's never a point, and I know this is gonna like give some people anxiety, but there's never a point where like it should just like that's enough. Like, okay, now you can stop, right? That is why it's so important to create a healthy, realistic regimen. If you know that for the rest of your life you want to do 2-a-day workouts and do 75 hard or whatever type of program you want to do, then like go do that. Okay. But there's going to come a time in your life where you're not going to be able to do that, or it's going to wear your body down, and maybe that there's more injury, or maybe you're going to go through life changes or moves or whatever, right? So, you have to kind of look at it and say, what is actually realistic, and can I reach my goals, in that way? And so that's what I do. So as a certified personal trainer, and like with my programming and everything, I try to make sure that my clients always feel successful in the way that they know that, yes, it is okay to have that slice of pizza or the ice cream or go to family functions. Like, you don't have to hide away, by yourself in your house and just like hate life for a year, right? And that's where, like, even with my stuff and with my prep going around this time, I'm really trying to focus on having that balance. And had my client Christmas party, did went to my gym Christmas party that we had. Like, I did trying to think, like, have done things with my best friends, like just really trying to be intentional about doing things when I have the time, and making the time for that, and making sure there is a balance, and having family time and all of that. And what I've noticed here recently is a lot of people reaching goals and they're crushing it, and that is amazing, and I am so proud of all of them. But just because you reach one goal does not mean now you're good. And I think that that's something that was sold to us as a society, that once you get to this weight, you like everything gets better. Your life gets better, things get easier, you just start to thrive, right? And those things may be true, right? But to some extent, but it's not what you think. And so with me, for example, going from 214 pounds to, 157 on stage, for me, it was like, okay, I felt kind of confused in my body at first. I didn't recognize myself. I had to constantly remind myself who I was. I had to really sit in that body and that people were treating me differently. I had to sit in that, my clothes were sizes I had never dreamed of wearing or thought was possible, right? Because I had listened to the idea of large frame, large frame, large frame my whole life, big booty, big thighs, but, all these things, right? That had just been so ingrained in me that even though I knew that, like, okay, I can work hard, I can be disciplined, whatever. I didn't realize it was going to change like all of this, all of that stuff, right? Everything. But again, it didn't change everything in a positive way. That's a highlight reel that, I believe that you're trying to, if you're on your weight loss journey, that you're sold into right now. And so it's like, I don't know. It is just, it's just so interesting because at the end of the day, you know, I feel like, I don't know. I feel like we have to be more realistic with it. And that's what I mean by that in my journey. And with me, like, I didn't know how I was going to feel. And so when I got into everything, and kind of got through it. So now, like, been improvement season, putting on weight, stuff like that, you know, I now feel, I guess, feel like I can look at it from an outsider perspective and be like, man, like that's crazy. But that like all of this has gone around and stuff that like I was treated differently. There were things said to me that, all these things that I didn't, like I'd always assumed was going to happen, but I thought that I'd be wrong. Right. And what I fear for other competitors, or I fear for other women, especially who are on this journey, what's hard is that you have to let go of, like I always say, the unrealistic, timelines, but you have to let go of the heightened of like, okay, when I reach this body goal size, whatever, I'm going to just like that's it. Like I've done the hard work, I've put it in. But like think about it in perspective of a job. Like if you just like, got let's say, I don't know, you're in a corporate job and you crushed this project or you sold this amount of money or you did this thing, whatever, you would still keep doing that. Like you wouldn't just like stop and then be like, okay, well, I'm good, guys. Like my job is done. Like see you later. Right. So, and it's so wild to me. And I actually was talking to a client about this the other day, about how like dealing with like in terms of competitors and stuff, like even just being comfortable in your body and like you seeing it, because a lot of them are seeing, and a lot of my clients even like are seeing people say things to them and say things like, wow, you look so great, wow, you've changed so much, all these things, and maybe they're positive comments, maybe they're negative comments, maybe a mix in between, but so they're letting their judgment and view of their body be based on what everyone else is saying. So we're still falling into that trap of like that positive affirmation from others, and not from our within and from with ourselves. And so that is where, I was talking to her about it. I said, it's interesting because it's kind of like when you are, you're fighting so long for this, like you're going and you're going and going. So it's like when you finally get it, you just almost don't even know what to do, right? Like you're like, wow, okay, so we're here. All right, let's keep working. You know what I mean? And there was never a thought in my mind. I mean, I went the day after my shows and literally like went back to whatever it's called, the gym, and did the stairmaster that next morning. And people were like, "Are you on the stairs right now?" I'm like, "Yeah," because like that's a part of my regimen, my routine, my off-season plan. Like I haven't stopped working. I haven't stopped. Going after my dreams and pursuing, and because I made it a healthy lifestyle regimen, it wasn't to the point where it was. Again, it comes in seasons, but it wasn't to the point where you know, I am like, okay, I'm not gonna move or get movement in for months or something. It's not like, okay, I reached that size and now I'm good. So I really encourage you with whatever program you're doing. If you again, let's say that you've reached your weight goal and whatever that is, and you feel like you've lost that fire, you've lost that drive, and you're like, well, Danny, like I don't know. I mean, I accomplished this huge goal, so like, how do I not like? How do I be okay with like, you know, I like how do I keep moving forward and not just be okay with this like version of myself? And that's where I've sat there and told them, you have to really sit with, why did you do this in the beginning? Was it solely because you wanted to lose weight? And if so, that's totally fine. But from there, you've done that. Now, do you look the way that you've always wanted to look? Because I have pictures and stuff for me where like, that I'm like, I think are more beautiful before my show when at a heavier weight than the day of my show. And so for me, it's like there's a look and there's something that I like. I'm like, man, I really love that. And I never would have thought that. I never would have known that without going through it. So if you are someone who's had a major weight loss journey, maybe gone through surgery, maybe you've, maybe put on a lot of muscle, whatever it is, like that's what's so exciting about the human body is like you really don't know what you can accomplish. And it's not just the transformations of the losing weight, but it is the finding where you feel your strongest, sexiest, most athletic, your endurance, like are those markers, are you hitting all of those things so that when you look in the mirror, you're not sitting here being like, oh, well, so-and-so said you're beautiful, but it's you saying you're beautiful. And I actually watched a TikTok of this girl, and I can't remember her handle or whatever, but she was like, it's like the song, it's like, you're sexy, I'm sexy, you're sexy, or whatever. It's like the person's like convincing her that she's sexy. And this girl seems to be pretty confident on her own, but I get the point of the reel and I get the story. And like what she was trying to say. But it is like her boyfriend was like hyping her up. And, as we are in the month of February and it's like Valentine's coming up and all that good stuff and whatever, you want to look at it as that's nice that they have those comments and that's nice that you have those affirmations, but like, can you truly look at yourself and be like, yes, I am those things and I believe that. And if you've been in such a negative state of mind, gone through grief, whatever it might be, depression, anxiety, you can't even see the amazing things you're accomplishing, right? So it's like when you're talking about being okay with being like, just okay with, settling at where you're at in your journey, ask yourself, like, but truly, is the mental part there? Is the physical part there? It's that triangle, the good movement, good fuel, positivity. Like, are all three of those components in your regimen? Because 9 times out of 10, one is missing. And, we're like too far on the extreme of the working out, but we hate ourselves, right? Or it's like we love ourselves, but we don't do the movement. And, but then we don't have the proper fueling or whatever. So it's like there's always some type of off of it. And that's why I say it's not about perfect movement. It's not about perfect fuel. And especially if you're a competitor listening, I'm sure they're like, yeah, whatever, Dani, like, you have these plans and you're perfect, quote unquote, on them, or you follow them to a T. Yes, but that is for a season of time and everyone is different too, right? I stay on a plan, not necessarily because I have to, right? Like I could have stayed at a range that was healthy for my body after the show and after reverse dieting, and I could have done that. And I honestly, I kind of wanted to do that and not compete again. If we're being real, but because I was like, I'm good with my body. Like I'm okay with it. I sat in this very topic we're talking about. And then it was like, but okay, have I ever settled for just okay? Like, is my podcast just okay? Is my business just okay? And so I had to really look at it and say to myself, like, what do you want out of this life? You never thought you would be this weight, this size, whatever before. So, like, why don't we try something? Why don't we keep going with this and just see? Get back to lifting heavier, continue the health, keep your health mentally and physically in check, thrive with your business, like, eat a little bit more on this plan, whatever, but like, do it in a structured way so you still have a structure, you still have a program. And then let's come back to the show and do this prep all over again with a different intention because you can get down to like whatever weight or whatever, so like that. But like, let's like recomp your body. Let's see how strong you can look truly, how much muscle can be shown on stage. Like, so you see what I'm saying? So, and it's exciting just talking about it, for me at least. And so I get all hyped up about it because, it's just something new. And I think that is where we get okay with ourselves and then we start to get frustrated with our regimen or our gym membership or our routine or, our coach or whoever because we're like, I'm just like, I don't really have any goals. I don't have whatever. It's like you have to dig deep in that. And like you can always ask people like what they think your goals should be. But again, look inside yourself and say, if everything, the cards, the stars, everything aligned, what would be my goal? Is that 10 pull-ups? Is that doing a Spartan race? Is that doing a half marathon? Is it no competing whatsoever, but you just want to be good with yourself, be able to take pictures of yourself in the mirror, journal more? Like those are the types of questions I want you to open up your mind to. Because again, being, having a competitive spirit for me is something that is ingrained in me. So like it's really about competing with myself. But again, being in that nature of there's a day, there's a start, there's a middle, there's an end, and then we like keep back with it, right? And that's how strongman was too. We competed, qualify for nationals, go to nationals, and then we restart the whole year again, or you move on to the Arnold. So that's the kind of structure I like. And even with, your training programs, like your coach should have you and your trainer should have you continually seeing like obviously bigger lifts or like structure to where you're doing like you're building your endurance more, so you know that you can run more or you can run faster or you can increase your walking speed of your mile. Like these are all things that I do for my clients that bring you joy and like little nuggets of like just like sparks of energy throughout your regimen, because you're going to want that when things get hard or you're like, what, I'm just okay. I'm okay enough. Like I'm good with who how I look and who I am. So I don't need to, continue on this healthy lifestyle journey. And it's like, but that's the thing, is that a true and real healthy lifestyle journey is forever. And it doesn't mean that you, again, have to be, with a trainer forever, or you have to, always follow a plan, but learn, like learn from it and learn how to, program for yourself. And if you are someone that's like, no, I know that I need the accountability, I need to be pushed. Like for me, I could definitely program for myself. I could definitely do all of these things. I could use old plans of my coach or whatever and just redoing them, right? But I don't want to do it. Like, honestly, with my life, and I know myself, like, I have always wanted to have that structure laid out for me, so I don't even have to think about it. And I do that for my clients. I know the value in it, and that's why like it is so important, because again, it is just so nice with when life gets heavy, life gets hard, and you can just roll up to the gym with a plan and just rock it out, like, and it's tailored and custom to you. Like that is the key, and I really think it is. And so, even for me, like I have a trainer and I got a coach and then I got a posing coach and I got all these people that have different expertise and everything like that. When, and I just truly feel like, I value that so much. And I know my people that work with me value, our plans so much, because it's not about that, oh, they can't do it on their own. I make my people strong enough to where they could do it wherever and whenever, and do their workouts and feel like it's efficient movement and good form and stuff like that. But it's just an energy. It's just different. And yeah, so I want you to really just sit back and think about it and be like, are you kind of sitting in that season where you're like, yeah, I'm good enough. Like I'm good right here. Like I'm cool with it. But really, like, are you, right? And because I know for me, for example, when I very first started my healthy lifestyle journey 7 years or no, oh my gosh, 11 years ago. Ooh, and then started my business like 6 years ago, I had to sit there and say to myself, I had to get to rock bottom before, I mean, yeah, like before I could even push myself to start having a plan and having a program. And I'm just trying to tell you, like, don't wait till you get injured to go to the chiropractor. Like, don't wait till you get like to that rock bottom. Like, I want to save you that time and that frustration and that sadness and that depression that I sat in and feeling of worthlessness, That is what I'm, really in this season of time with like the Get Your Movement In challenge, just everything, like trying to press forward with that like at the end of the day, excuse me, at the end of the day, like you're worth so much more than you give yourself credit for. And especially as females, especially, even for my men and stuff too, it's just, we continually put ourselves last. And I just really believe in putting your healthy lifestyle journey first and letting it be a part of you, not something you just do or some class you just show up to. Like really just like be enthralled in it, like enjoy it, embrace it, and keep moving with it. So until next time.